Welcome back to Primetime News.
Special welcome to folks on OneSpotMedia.com.
Up first this evening, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has outlined the government's plans to address the root cause of violence in Jamaica.
He says the programs being considered will involve social services workers going into more communities to speak with victims of corporal punishment as children.
The Prime Minister outlined the plans as he assessed the crime data from 2023. Details from Dwayne Anderson.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness trotting a pothole-filled road in Portland on Thursday. It's not the only rocky road facing Jamaicans at this time. Crime continues to plague the nation. 2023, though, has brought relative relief in comparison to previous years.
We see that the reported major crimes, which would be murder, shooting, robbery, assaults, and rape, break-ins, are all trending down. In fact, this year's figure is the lowest in 22 years. So crime is going down. But the perception of crime is going up.
The Prime Minister said experts have started their analysis of the violence data in Jamaica, and so far they've noted that the nature of attacks are becoming more barbaric.
If you look at the statistics, you would see that of the 4,500 reported serious crimes that were committed, 1,300 were murders, 1,389 were murders, and 1,000 plus were shootings. So the percentage of violent crimes that could end in the ultimate loss of life relative to all other serious violent crimes is more. It's increasing. So there is no question that we have to do something about violence, and in particular, violent crime.
So having made large investments in the JCF and JDF's members, infrastructure and fleet, the government will now expand the reach of other areas of crime fighting, such as social services.
Somebody's going to have to sit down with mothers in communities like these to say, look, I know your mother beat you when you are growing up and you feel you are better for it. But that was back in the day without social media. That was back in the day when the entire community was your parent. Nowadays, the mental health impact of violence is such that it leads people to depression. People end up taking their lives and taking other people's lives, and people become angry and bitter, and they can't figure out why is it that I'm so angry and bitter. And it comes back to just generally how the society has normalized violence.
Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
Now, most Jamaicans believe there has been little to no improvement in the job market over the past 10 years. Now, that's according to the latest Don Anderson polls. It comes on the heels of a historic 2023 report, which showed a 4.5% decline in the island's unemployment rate.
In August 2023, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica reported that Jamaica's unemployment rate fell to 4.5%. This was according to its April 2023 survey and represented a historic achievement. The real estate and business service industries, as well as wholesale and retail trade, were listed as having the most employees. But then by December came concern that there is a shortage of labor, which is crippling some industries in the country, and that Jamaica may have to look overseas to fill the gap.
Where are you going to put them, and what are you going to pay? We have been... When we talk about the importation of labor, it made me tremble because it was the genesis of importation of labor that caused slavery. Do we have barracks to put them in? Do we have a system to give them work permit so that they are not disadvantaged here?
On top of those concerns, most Jamaicans believe there has been little to no improvement in the job market over the past 10 years. According to the latest Don Anderson polls, 29% of respondents said jobs are slightly easier to get now, while 20% believe it is much easier to find work. They represent an overall 49% of respondents who agree that the job market has improved. The majority of the respondents who agreed were males. However, 10% of those surveyed believe it is slightly more difficult to get a job now than 10 years ago. 26% said it was much more difficult. 10% said the job market has remained the same, while 5% did not know. The majority of those who rate the job market negatively were females. The poll was conducted between November 24 and December 7. It has a margin of error of plus or minus 3%.